How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer. Got ourselves a little bit of snow today. Alright, so I guess there's a couple of topics we can talk about today. The first one being talking about the latest GameSack video that was released. Now, truth be told, I'm not subscribed to GameSack, but I do watch that channel once in a while. When there's a new video, sometimes I'll check it out. It's no longer Joe and Dave, it's just Joe. And today he put out a video, I guess, covering the 3D Castlevania games from the N64 onwards. And so this is my issue with GameSack. Now, don't get me wrong, Joe seems like a pretty nice guy. Channel's got excellent production values. I'd say his production values are probably even better than MJR's. My problem is, and this isn't the first time he's done it, his content is similar to MJR's. It's very cookie cutter, and when he talks about certain games, I feel like he just rushes right through the topic of conversation. So as an example, today he talked about, again, the Castlevania games from N64 onwards. And while he does go into some detail regarding each game, I find it's just like a quick overview for the casual gamer. And it's not like, I don't know, I just feel like asking the guy, did you even play the game? Because like he talks about Lords of Shadow, which came out on the PS3 and the 360. Anyone who watched my channel, you know I started playing Lords of Shadow last week, and I enjoyed it immensely. Yes, it's got quick time events, but it doesn't mean it's a bad game. So Joe's talking about Lords of Shadow, and this is basically what he said in a nutshell. So here we have Lords of Shadow, and this game came out in da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, this game has nothing to do with the Castlevania series, and this game plays like a poor man's version of God of War, and it's got some elements of Uncharted, and the graphics are okay, but yeah, this was the down point of the series. And then he just moves on to the next game. Okay, first of all, Lords of Shadow was critically acclaimed when it came out, and maybe it is a product of its time, and when you do a retrospective review of it, you may not be able to hold it in the same light. But for him to just sort of talk about the game for a couple of minutes and gloss over many of the things that he could have talked about, it's just, you gotta wonder if someone that watches his video, they don't know any better and they watch that, and then they just totally dismiss the game. So what if it bears similarity to God of War? God of War is a good game. And as far as the graphics are concerned, he didn't really talk about it. The graphics in Lords of Shadow are fucking incredible, especially for, you know, if you go back and play it right now on a good TV, on a PS3, Blu-ray. I don't know what the fuck Joe's talking about. So yeah, it's a good game. Does it have 2D elements from the older games? No. But I think that's the problem with Joe. He's a little too biased when it comes to nostalgia. And he doesn't see things for what they're worth. For him to just sort of dismiss Lords of Shadow and act like it's just like a subpar game, it's a bit ridiculous. And this is, and I'm saying this as someone who typically can't stand it when a third-party dev team comes in and like Mercury Steam and takes over for Capcom or Konami, just like they did with the Metroid games for Nintendo. But I think Mercury Steam did a really good job with Lords of Shadow. I haven't played the second one, so I can't say, but it does look good. So, do I think Joe Redford, do I think he plays the games before he puts out these videos? I imagine he does play them a little bit to capture footage. Do I think he sits there and plays through the entire game to have a better understanding of what it has to offer? I don't think he does. GameSack also puts out another type of video called Games That Push the Hardware to Its Limits. I think that's what he calls it. And it's the same thing. He'll just, randomly pick 16 Sega Genesis games. And he'll be like, hey, check out this game. Look at the parallax scrolling. Next, check out this game. Look at the backgrounds. Look at the foregrounds. Look at the sprites. Next. And he just goes right through the games without doing an in-depth analysis. And I think that's what he's going for. He's going for the same style of videos as MJR. They appeal to a casual audience, someone who can whip up a bag of popcorn and sit down and watch a GameSack episode and then get on with their day. So, to each their own. I guess that's the type of content that brings in the views, but it's just a little bit shallow, in my opinion. But that's, again, similar to MJR. This is sort of the rabbit hole this guy has gone down. He can't get too organic and abstract with his content like you're seeing in this video here. Because if he did that, he would alienate all these subscribers that now have an expectation as to what type of content this guy has to put out. So unfortunately with GameSack, again, I don't mind their videos. They're fun to sit down and binge watch, but they're shallow. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about, I had someone in my comment section recently ask me, they said, no offense, why did you buy a PS4? He said you could have bought a PS5 for about the same price as what you paid for your PS4 Pro, the limited edition that I picked up, and it would have came with a warranty. So these are valid questions and criticisms, and I guess I'll answer them. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. I guess it just depends on your preference. So with regards to, why did you get a PS4 Pro, or why did you pay what you paid for that Pro when you could have got a PS5? So I don't know what you're talking about. I paid $550 for my PS4 Pro. You're not gonna find a PS5 for $550 Canadian. You're just not. It's probably gonna cost you like $800 or $900 because you can't buy a PS4. You can't buy a PS5 right now in Canada at retail. You just can't. It doesn't exist. So you have to resort to the scalpers market, which I'm not going to do. So that we can sort of just kibosh that right there. And with regards to the warranty, okay, fair enough. Obviously I don't have a warranty on my PS4 Pro. Or, if the console came with a warranty, it's probably up by now, right? The console's about 3 years old, so there's an argument to be had. I don't really fucking pay attention to warranties, to be honest with you. I've never really utilized them. If I bought a PS5 brand new and it started acting up within the first 6 months or the first year, yeah, obviously I'm gonna look into that. But let's say I bought a PS5 and, well, again, it doesn't matter, the warranty would be up at that point, but I'm not a firm believer in extended warranties, so usually if something breaks, I'll just go out and buy another one. But the real meat and potatoes of this argument is, which console is better, the PS4 or the PS5, or the PS4 Pro or the PS5. Sorry, I had to wipe the lens off here. So like I said, what determines the greatness of a console is not the console itself. It's the library of games. And although I don't really see a lot of games on the PS4 that really pique my interest, there's no argument. The library of games is impressive. If you look at everything that's available, you know, between the physical releases, the digital releases, the indie releases, the limited editions, limited run, the PS4 has an impressive library of games. You know, it rivals the PS1 era or the PS2. The PS5, like, I don't own one, but I do watch, you know, a lot of channels I'm subscribed to. They do PS5, you know, their collection videos, if you will. I watched one guy, Mark, he put out one yesterday and I watched it. Now, I'm not disparaging his collection. It's impressive for being a console that's only been out for a year. But it seems like a lot of the titles he has, again, are these indie releases that may have gotten a physical, which is fine. But, you know, if you take that out of the equation, there's really not much on the PS5 right now. You could almost argue that the Xbox Series console has better games right now. That's just my opinion. I know they're cross-gen, but I know Dads and Lads Gaming put out a sort of a parody video this morning showcasing his PS5 collection, and they showed one game, Demon Souls. Like, again, there's really, the pickings are slim. Most of the games right now, and again, I guess this goes for the series consoles as well, but for the PS5, like, there's fuck all. Really there is. Any game, most of the games you can get on the PS5, you can play on the PS4. So, and not only that, maybe you'll argue with me on this, but I think the PS4, while not the most attractive looking console ever made, it's for damn sure nicer looking than the PS5. They gotta fucking revise the look of that PS5. That's just an ugly ass console. And if the outer casing, like the wings on it, if that was Sony's intention to be able to sell different colored clips, kudos to them. Brilliant marketing strategy. But doesn't make any excuse for how ugly the console is. It's absolutely hideous. So you might argue, you know, why would you buy or not buy a console based on what it looks like? That's just me. I've seen the PS5 in person. The fucking console is huge. Wouldn't fit under my entertainment unit. I don't know. I don't get it. We're already over a year into the lifespan of the current gen consoles, and there's just fuck all to choose from. I don't know if it has to do with the pandemic. You know, again, these consoles are hard to come by, so in order for these companies to continue making a profit, they're choosing to release these games as cross-gen games. I totally get that, but you know, the situation we're in the world right now could go on and on and on and on and on for the next couple of years. So, you know, maybe it does make sense to skip this generation of consoles. But again, the next generation of consoles will probably be all digital, like I alluded to a couple of videos ago. But those are just my thoughts on this topic. Leave it in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think the PS4 is a better console than the PS5? Is this a stupid argument? Leave it in the comments below. So the next thing I want to talk about is the company Analogue. Now, I was warned about this, and And I found out firsthand recently. So Analogue, if you don't know who they are the company behind the Mega SG, Super NT. They basically make retro consoles that basically runs off of the hardware, not software emulation. So very expensive premium items. This tree is down. And I recently pre-ordered the Pocket, the Analogue Pocket, which is kind of like a premium Game Boy Advance, if you will. It runs Game Boy Advance games, Game Gear with an adapter, Atari Lynx, and I'm not getting my console until apparently later on this year at some point. So I emailed Analogue and I asked, can you be more specific as to when I should expect this device, this premium device that I paid hundreds of dollars for? Radio silence. Didn't get a response from my email at all. It's like, what kind of fucking bullshit is that? You know, I just plopped down a couple $100s on this machine I pre-ordered. You took my money right away. And in return, I ask a simple fucking question, and you can't even give me a goddamn answer. So yeah, that's that. So check this out. These two trees are so close together, they've become intertwined. This tree looks like it's glowing. Alright, so the next thing we'll talk about this briefly, and then we'll move on. So we're talking about Tipster, or is he called Tipster Live, Tipster News. So, I don't really care for the guy's content. Pops up in my feed once in a while. But I don't really want to talk about his content. I just want to talk about him as an individual. Now, I don't know him personally. I tread carefully here. But, for God's sakes, I hope somebody who's close to him, or him in general, I hope he's taking his health seriously, or he's gonna make an attempt to sort of, you know, get some professional help, because, and again, I'm not trying to disparage the guy, but, you know, clearly he's got some concerning issues regarding his weight, and you know, regardless of how we feel towards somebody's content on YouTube as an example, we don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. And you know, I'm looking at the guy and he's putting out content daily, and man, I hope that guy is, you know, I hope he's getting out, getting some exercise, getting some, like I said, professional help, because, you know, we don't want anything bad to happen to this guy. Sorry about that, I had to stop recording. Somebody was running on the trail and I had to get out of the way. So, yeah, again, we don't want anything bad to happen to the guy, but if he doesn't take his health seriously, you know, it's not a laughing matter. And I'm no health expert myself. You know, I'm out here on the trail trying to lose some weight, but you know, I'm not perfect, just like anybody else, but at least I'm making an effort, you know. You know, say what you want about Smash JT and his channel, he's not putting out any content anymore, but for all that guy's faults, at least he's out on the trail trying to get exercise. We can't fault the guy for that. So when you see, you know, Tipster there, I don't know. Again, I don't know the guy's situation. There could be a lot going on, but I don't think he's gonna watch this video. But for God's sakes, that guy needs to, if he hasn't already, get help, get that under control, because we don't want to see anything bad happen to the guy, or anyone else for that matter, or any of you watching this video. You know, if you're struggling with weight issues, and that includes me, do what you can. So I guess the last thing we'll talk about is the upcoming or the forthcoming Game Chasers of the movie. We got an update from Billy Chaser a couple of days ago. So I don't want to say anything too disparaging about this project, but you know, it seems like it's constantly the same sort of trail of breadcrumbs of updates every couple of months. You know, the movie's on the cutting room floor. We're working on packing the Blu-ray full of extras. The movie's almost done. We had to edit another scene. The movie should be out soon, etc., etc., etc. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with this movie. I don't know why it's so delayed. I don't understand. One thing I do want to say, again, I haven't seen the movie, so I'm limited as to what I can say. And this is just a matter of opinion, but it seems like they're really going for this sort of, I wouldn't say big budget affair, low budget affair, because they didn't have a huge budget to work with as far as motion pictures are concerned. But you know, they're going for this sort of a John Hughes sort of slapstick comedy, wholesome family movie vibe. And I gotta be honest with you guys, a lot of those movies, especially from the 90s and even the 80s, a lot of them just plain fucking suck. Especially the 90s. You know, you look at a movie like Home Alone, I get it, everybody's seen it, it's a classic. Newsflash, it's not that good of a movie. And wasn't that one done by John Hughes? It's not that good. It just isn't. Yeah, it's got some redeeming qualities, but as a movie, it's not that good. So if you want my opinion, and my opinion doesn't matter, I know that. And I've already said this before. I wish those guys would have just Billy and Jay, cut out everyone else. I wish they just would have went on like a kind of like not an antique roadshow, but kind of like a cross-country game hunting bonanza. Kind of do it like documentary style, where they go maybe not in North America, but maybe the U.S. They travel to all the different states, you know, hunting for a huge video game score. I don't know, like something that you would not typically see out in the wild. I don't know, make something out of it. You know, do it like I said, documentary style, a little bit more organic, a little bit more niche, a little bit more adult contemporary. I think if they would have done that with the budget they were working with, they could have churned out something that was a lot more interesting and probably a lot easier to edit. So right now, I don't know if they're trying to land a Netflix deal. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but all this time and energy involved trying to perfect something that, let's be honest, it'll be released, and then those who are interested in watching it, you know, the people that actually know that it exists within the gaming community, will be excited for, but the rest of the world probably won't even know about it. Whereas if they would have released something, this is just my opinion, documentary style, maybe game hunting, game chasing around North America, and then they could have probably, maybe obviously not Netflix, but they could have released it maybe on, I don't know, YouTube as a paid purchase. May have had more success. Now, I'm not a businessman. I'm just throwing out stuff, but I don't know. I just think shooting like a documentary style Game Chasers episode that's like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and I know that's basically what their channel is, but if they would have made a movie out of it with better production values, would have been more interesting. Now, that being said, it is really hard to incorporate high production values when you're game hunting, because a lot of these venues that you show up to, they actually don't like it when you whip out your camera, even if it's your smartphone, and start filming. A lot of these people don't like it. Retro game stores, same thing. So it's really difficult to do. Now, that being said, with today's modern smartphones, you can capture really good video with adapters you can buy that you can attach to your phone, and then you can get really good video. There's actually some motion pictures that have been released over the last couple of years that prove that it can be done. But as it stands right now, I don't know. I guess this is a labor of love for Billy, and he really wants to go for that sort of Home Alone vibe, that John Hughes vibe, which fine, kudos to him. But I don't know. I just wish they would have sort of put out something a little bit more adult contemporary. That's just my opinion on it. So, and then, you know, as far as Blu-rays are concerned, I don't quite understand why they're doing that. Maybe there was a demand for Blu-rays. I know nobody really buys Blu-rays anymore, but the bulk of consumers that are going to buy that Blu-ray are, again, retro gamers in the community that love watching the Game Chasers, so they want to have something physical. I get it. Will this movie come out in 2022? I don't see why not. At this point, this movie is kind of like the Amico. It's been in production for what, 2 years now? 3? So I think they need to get it out, especially with the amount of people that have sort of funded this project, or, you know, what was it, Kickstarter? You got to show something at this point. So, alright, so that's going to do it for today's video. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.